for things I didn't get, for healing that never came, for doors that stayed closed, for answers that stayed silent. I prayed with words I didn't believe, and words I believed too much. I prayed on my knees and in my car, and in the hospital waiting room, where the coffee was always cold and the chairs were always hard, and the time moved like it was underwater. And I prayed for the water to clear, for the surface to break, for something, anything to make sense. And some of those prayers were answered in ways I didn't recognize until years later, in ways that didn't look like answers, in ways that looked like loss, like failure, like emptiness, like the end of something I thought I needed. And some of those prayers are still floating out there, somewhere in the atmosphere, unanswered, unclaimed, like letters with no return address, like songs with no ending, like questions I stopped asking because the asking was breaking me more than the silence was. Not every prayer needs an answer, not every question needs a reply. Some prayers are just the speaking, the reaching out into the dark and finding that the dark is not empty after all. Not every prayer needs an answer. Some prayers are the answer. The asking is the grace, the warning is the gift. Not every prayer needs an answer. I stopped praying for things a while ago, stopped asking for outcomes, stopped bargaining with the universe like it was a merchant and I was a customer with something to trade. Now I pray differently. Now I pray like I'm talking to a friend who doesn't always have the words, but is always there. Now I pray like I'm breathing, not like I'm begging. Now I pray like I'm listening more than I'm speaking, and the silence doesn't scare me like it used to. The silence has its own language, and I'm learning how to speak it slowly, badly, but learning. Not every prayer needs an answer, not every question needs a reply. Some prayers are just the speaking, the reaching out into the dark and finding that the dark is not empty after all. Not every prayer needs an answer. Some prayers are the answer. The asking is the grace, the warning is the gift. Not every prayer needs an answer. Maybe faith is just the courage to keep asking, even when the answer is silent. Maybe faith is just the strength to keep reaching, even when your hand comes back empty. Maybe faith is just the wisdom to know that empty hands are still hands, that silence is still sound, that darkness is still light, waiting to be seen. Waiting to be seen. Waiting to be seen. It's not